Welcome, everyone. My name is Nancy Moore. I'm the Director of Programs for Africa Fire Mission. Thank you for joining us today for our virtual training. Today, we will have a presentation on firefighter water rescue presented by Daniel Mwangi. We are just very excited to continue to offer trainings. Just a reminder that at this time, we do not offer certificates of attendance for the trainings. That is something we're looking forward to doing in the future. However, we do really encourage you to share the information you learn with your colleagues, to share the videos that are recorded from these trainings after the fact with your colleagues, and to participate with Africa Fire Mission in many ways. There is a training tab on or a resource tab on our website now where you can access these trainings. You can access our fire prevention curriculum and also our firefighter blog that is written specifically for firefighters across Africa. So please make use of those resources. And thank you very, very much for being here today. I'm going to pass it to Jose to start us off with some words of encouragement before the training.
Thank you very much, Nancy, for having me. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Mwangi, for availing yourself in today's session. Without further ado, I will read our encouragement today. And it's a little bit different because it talks about our homes. And the topic of today's encouragement is harmony at home. Yeah, and we shall derive the reading from today is from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2. It reads, "Patiently put up with each other and love each other." And I read the encouragement. Building a good relationship at home is like building a wall. It's done brick by brick, and the mortar that holds it together is unconditional, uncondemning, and selfish love. The only way you'll know how good a job you've done is when it's tested by storms of life. One of the most important keys to succeeding at home is communication. So, becoming creative, spending time together as a family. Call your mate during the day and try to meet sometimes for lunch. Drive your children to school or extracurricular activities so you can talk to them. Communication can happen anywhere, but it won't happen unless you make it a priority. Number 2, identify communication killers. Internet, mobile phones, and TVs are the chief culprits. The average couple spends less than 1 hour a week in meaningful communication. They spend 5 times more each day watching television. This is a screen test you'll have to pass if you want to succeed at home. Number 3, encourage every member to speak their mind. And when they do, don't criticize or retaliate. Differences of opinion are healthy. Handled right, they can make things better. If you're in a habit of using any communication style other than a cooperative one, start immediately to change it. You'll have to if you want to build a good relationship with your family. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for today's encouragement. We thank you that you've called us to this job so that also we can serve our closest people who are at home. We ask you that you help us to love our family. And Lord, we ask you that you help us to be committed to. And Lord, even today as Mwangi teaches us, we ask you that we learn from you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Mr. Daniel Mwangi, please, the floor is yours. You can take us from here, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to our today's lesson. We are going to be looking into firefighters water rescue. Yeah, that's what we are going to be looking today. And we are going to learn what is water rescue, who should undertake water rescue, what if you find yourself in danger with water, what you can do, and we will also be looking into how you can rescue victims from water. Next slide. Next. And before we even go further, let's see what is this business called water rescue. Firefighters' mission is to protect life and property. And that is basically what emergency services is all about. You have to protect life, property, escalation of the damages. This place search and rescue operation at the top of the response priorities. Fire and rescue departments are called upon with increasing frequency to deal with water rescue emergencies. Many other times you find yourself being called to respond to various incidences, water being one of them. And water, we need to define this water rescue. And it is defined as a rescue of a patient or a victim who is afloat on the surface of water body. Next. As a firefighter, we know not everybody who can undertake water rescue. Who should do this water rescue business, and how well prepared or what skills should he or she have? Water competence means being able to anticipate, avoid, and survive common drowning situations, as well as being able to recognize and provide assistance to those in need. Includes water safety awareness, basic swimming skills, and helping others. Water competence include having sufficient knowledge to be responsible for one's own safety as well as safety of everyone you are supervising. Safety starts with you everywhere. Whenever you are responding in any emergency, any incident, you have to make sure you are safe so that you can be able to save another life, save property, and even reduce the damage to property and the escalation of the incidents. So you have to be aware of the situation you are going to get yourself into. You have to have the skills. You have to know how to survive and also be able to offer help. There is more to drowning prevention than swimming skills. Yeah, you don't have to say that I know how to swim, I can float on water, so I can save somebody. You need to know more than that. And that's what we are going to study today. Water safety is knowing about the water and the hazard in it, and about having respect for the water. Because water is a different kind of environment. You have to know it. Water behaves differently from the way we are used in our normal environment. Water can surprise you, and it's a very good servant, but when it comes to its force, you really need to understand what you are doing and what you are dealing with. And that is what is called water competence for any rescuer. Let's go on. Next slide. One of the many things you need to be aware of for you to offer help is to understand the drowning process. What goes on when somebody is in danger with water? And this is the process. This is the metamorphosis. Let's call it a procedural way of drowning, because there are several steps which goes on, and you need to know where you intervene in so that you can give care when you get to the process of caring. Once you get into water, or once a patient or a victim is in water and he cannot withstand, he cannot be comfortable in water, he will start to struggle. He or she will start to struggle. This will take about 10 to 60 seconds. And in struggle, you see somebody trying to hold on to things, as if lifting water, lifting the head, and coming above over the water. And this is where he or she will ingest and aspirate water into airway. Water will get through the mouth as he is trying to come up, struggling, and all the commotion. Water will get through the mouth and it will get into the airway. And that is the start of chronicles of drowning. That's where danger starts in. Once the water gets into your airway, there is that body will start to fight because it has realized it is in danger. The body alert mechanism will start to fight, and it will do some. It will block the airway through constriction. It's called laryngospasm. It will cause an there is around the airway, there is an opening which opens and closes. It will close in order to try to save itself or to prevent water going on. And when it closes, you don't get air in or oxygen in, and you get into a state called hypoxia. Hypoxia is where you are in deficiency of oxygens. And when you get into hypoxia, now the body will start asking for more oxygen. You'll get into a state where the body is fighting to get oxygen. Remember, it has crossed. And it has realized now, I don't have enough oxygen, I need more. Then you'll get into a state of unconsciousness. The body will relax. The spasm, the laryngo will open, and water now will get in large quantity, and it will head straight to your lungs. And that's where you get respiratory arrest. And respiratory arrest might lead to cardiac arrest because of introduction of more water into your body. Other conditions will start developing. You might the heart will get muffled. You get struggled. The lungs will get will be suppressed. Will not be able to do its work, and that's how drowning occurs. That is the drowning process. Next. Now, let's go straight to activities of how you can rescue yourself. How can you be safe in water, you individually as a firefighter? Because we found so many firefighters, they don't have, especially in Africa, we don't have that those skills of water rescue, even individual water skills of what you can do when you find yourself in water danger. And here we are going to cover in two particular areas. There is what we call still water, the water which are enclosed, the water which is not moving, and later we are going to look on to swift water, moving water. When you find yourself in water, in still water, and you don't have the swimming skills, you don't have skills to sustain yourself or to be comfortable in that area, what do? The first thing is, do not panic. Because if you panic, if you get worked up, you end up gulping water and get yourself in worse condition. We've seen the drowning process, and we've seen what happens for one to drown. So what you do, don't panic, relax. After relaxing, turn on your back. Turn on your back, lay on your back. When you lay on your back, be calm, calm yourself, and keep your face. Try to tilt your head down a little bit so that you can get your mouth and nose out of water so that you can be able to breathe. When you're breathing, when you're on your back and you keep your head tilted back, the head position will cause your leg to just come up in a way or to float, and you'll be buoyant. Why will you be buoyant? Because you are getting air into your body. Lungs has that capability of giving you that buoyancy. Now, in that state, you'll float and you can be able to call for help. You can wave for help. You can yell, and help will come along your way. As long as you don't panic, stay calm, lay on your back, you're breathing, you'll be very much buoyant, and you're good to go. You'll get help. Unless you start struggling and you get water into your airway, you'll be safe that way for a long, long time, and help will come. Next. Next, Nancy. Despite doing that, we need to you need to know to realize as a firefighter you need skills which can save you personally. You need to learn how to swim. You need to learn how to float and survive in water. Very necessary. You need to learn how to tread in water. And most of all, whenever you are in surroundings of water bodies, 10 foot from water, you should be in the right clothing, personal floating devices, those jackets you wear, something which can make you float, because in emergencies, you don't know what will happen. Around those water, you don't know what will happen. So you've known how to save yourself, but acquire these skills. They'll save you. They'll save you. Advocate for them. Every individual, everybody should know how to, at least the basic swimming, and learn how to float. And if you're comfortable with this, you can move on and rescue somebody. Let's go. Now we are out of still or enclosed water. Let's go to swift waters. And in swift waters, remember we are dealing with somebody who don't have survival skills in water. And surprisingly, he or she finds himself or herself in this dangerous environment situation. What can he or she do? And there are two swimming modes, and they are called defensive and aggressive swimming. And everybody should be familiar with both of them. That's what we are going to learn. Next. Okay, in defensive swimming, the swimmer floats on back with feet on the surface and pointing downward downstream. This water is moving. The water is moving in a certain direction. Just the way you rode and raid on your back on still water, this also happens in moving water. Roll back, be on your back. But this time, make sure your legs are pointed towards the direction of the flow of water. Why should you have the legs on direction of water? To avoid being entrapped. And when you are on that position, your head will be above the water. You'll be able to see any blockage, any entrapment, anything. You'll be able to see wherever you are heading to. It will reduce the risk of foot entrapment and allow the swimmer to defend themselves against smashing into objects. Remember, we said when you are breathing, you are buoyant. When you're on your body, you keep you'll be able to keep your airway safe. If you want to move in a certain direction, you just tilt your legs. And this is where you come to save yourself, because you'll be seeing where is the shore, where is the end of this water. You can turn in that direction and you start paddling with your hand. Paddling with your hand. This hand will help you to reduce the speed you are moving in with water. So what you do, you'll paddle backward. The water is moving this way, you will paddle backward, and this will help you reduce the speed, and then you tilt towards where you are going. And don't be in a hurry to get out of water. Don't fight. Just flow with the current, flow with the flow downstream, the way the water is going, and slowly back paddle with your hands. You will head out of the center of the water, because at the center, water is moving with high speed, and you get out away, and very slowly you get to the shore. Let's go to the next slide. Now we'll talk about aggressive swimming. Aggressive swimming is more advanced, and this now needs you to have an idea of what is swimming. It's where it's called you crawl. This is where you see people. Mostly we refer to it as front freestyle swimming. You are trying to swim against the flow of water when your head is so up and you are seeing where you are going. Generally, you might have seen people swimming and you have an idea. And this one occurs when you might be doing you might be flowing on your back, and in front of you, you see a blockade or you see an obstacle. You need to act very fast. You need to turn, lift your head up, and swim to avoid being entrapped by the object. Because when you get entrapped, you'll go down, or it will compromise your safety. Basically, that's why we said you need to be aware of the two swimming method. Okay? When swimming, the emphasis is on pulling the swimmer through the water with the arm. Avoid much using of the legs. You pull yourself aggressively, because when you use your legs, you might not be aware of what to do, or you are going to use a lot of energy and you get tired very fast. So you pull yourself away from the object or away from the flow of the water. Next slide. Because of time, next slide. Barrels are, you can use it together with the aggressive. This is where you know the features of the now. You've saved yourself from still water. You've saved yourself from swift water. What if you get caught in a vehicle? Because almost half of the drowning incidences happens to people who are in vehicles, in car. Now you find yourself there into such a situation, you don't know how to swim. What do? You have to act very quickly here. You have to brace yourself for the impact if you are the driver. Let's say you are driving and immediately you notice you are diving, you are nose diving into waters. What are you going to do? Just like an accident where you're going to hit something in front of you, you have to prepare yourself because you are aware this is what is going to do. So you are going to hold your steering wheel at 10-2 position and prepare yourself for the impact. And be also aware that the airbag could release itself and it might harm you. Okay? And this is not for passengers. Passengers don't do anything. Don't brace yourself. Don't try to raise your head. Don't try to look up or anything. This could endanger you more. It could aggravate the damages you would have gotten. This is only for the drivers. Driver, brace yourself against the steering wheel and be ready. Then try to stay calm. You only have that is 30 to 60 seconds. That is approximately 1 minute to save yourself before the car sinks. That's how fast it goes down. What do? You unbuckle your seatbelt. You unbuckle your seatbelt because you cannot move. Then the next thing you do is you break the door glass. You need to have an access to outside. Maybe don't be in haste to open the door because it's being forced closed by the water. You break the door. And how can you break the window? If you don't have anything to hit the window with, there is this headrest on the car seat. Remove it very fast. On the lower corner of the window, hit it. And it will break very fast. You start getting out. Next slide. Scroll up. Okay, there is a protocol which you brace yourself, then you move, you take off your seatbelt, you break the window open and you go out. And if you have another passenger, and especially children, they are the one to go out first. Then from there, the main target is to get out of the car before it sinks, because it will take less than a minute for it to sink, and less than 2 minutes for it to get filled up with water. And when it gets filled with the water, and this depends on whether the door are jammed, whether the window is we are closed, or how heavy the car is. It all depends with those factors. You need to act fast. But how to save yourself? Brace yourself, put the seat belts off, window open, get out. If you are alone, get the children fast. If you're having another passenger, and remember, most vehicles, start sinking from the front because it's heavier from the front. If you find yourself you're not fast enough or you are got unaware, try to jump to the back seat or the back part of the vehicle and try to escape from there. But don't try to break the windscreen. It will bombard you with a lot of water. It will compromise your safety very fast. You won't be able to escape. It's not a good situation to find yourself, because windscreen is the one which is in front, and it makes the first contact with water very fast, rather than the door window. Next, please. Now, you are knowledgeable about how to save yourself in many situations. Those are the major situations you can find yourself, either in still water, swift water, or you get yourself in a car and you don't know how to swim. As long as in all those situations you don't panic, the rest of the procedure, the rest of the skills, you can execute them easily because they are easier. Mainly is to lie on your back, is to activate some back paddles, is to remain, it's good to call for help. Now we can move on. You have become an expert of saving yourself. You better become an expert of rescuing. You are a firefighter, you rescue life, you save life. How can you, after getting training and you become competent in water, how can you rescue victims from water? Scroll up. Is there a risk in undertaking water rescue? Of course, yes. You need to be trained in water, swimming and rescue skills to attempt any water rescue. Here, forget about saving yourself. Now you are undertaking another endeavor, saving other people. And you cannot save other people if you are not safe yourself. And what makes you safe is the kind of training you have, the skills you have, and awareness of the environment. You have to have the respect of the environment you are going to get yourself into. And that's why you need water swimming and rescue skills to attempt any water rescue. Many people lose their eyes while attempting to save others. Often, when you approach a person in difficulty, they may be in a state of panic. Of course, yes, they are in panic because they are seeing danger with their eyes. They cannot save themselves. They are powerless. So they can drag you together with them as they try to stay afloat. It is important not to put yourself in danger. Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't have to put yourself into danger. And I know as a firefighter, you respond to emergencies and you are trained on this. Sea safety, it always starts with you, the team, and the victim. Even in water, the protocol is the same. Don't put yourself in danger. You can reassure the person while encouraging them to kick in themselves or right on back, or if the person requires towing, you can take a net to them. You see, we go back to self-rescue. You've learned how to rescue yourself. And if you cannot rescue somebody because you are inadequate in skills, you can give instruction because you know how to save yourself. That's why we had to start with how you can save yourself, because you can you can direct this skills to somebody else who is in danger. If you cannot save him, you can tell him, lie on your back, do this, wait for help is coming, I've called for help. If you know you are not capable of saving him. It is not, rescue swimming refers to skills that enable an individual to attempt a rescue when a swimmer is in difficulty. These include a combination of communication skills. Yeah, you have to talk. You have to ensure that help has come. Specific rescue swimming strokes. Yeah, you have to be trained with what to do, just like you have to be trained as a firefighter, how to combat various type of fire, how to read smoke, how to enter into an environment. You have to have those specific rescue swimming strokes. They are there. Majorly they are four. There are four rescue strokes. When you get to training, you get that. You also need to know what you can do if things don't go the way you planned, the way you anticipated as we are going to rescue. You have to have a plan B. The victim might turn against you and you go down together. You have to run, release, blocks, and evade techniques for self-preservation. We said safety starts with you. You have to be safe yourself, but situation may change abruptly and you find yourself suffering. How can you get yourself out of the situation? Next. Are we together so far?
Yes, we are together.
Okay. A rescue, from the outset, once a swimmer is in difficulty, is spotted, eye contact must be maintained at all times. You have your victim, either you are going to save him or her, either you are getting into water, either you are trained or not, you need to know what is happening. Just like you've gone to a fire station, you need to know what is happening, so that you can know your part, your role, what you are going to do. You need to maintain eye contact with the victim so that you can calm him, reassure, or give instruction, or else when help arrives, you can be able to hand over properly. Here, he is there. Or if the situation changes, because from drowning, we get to death. And death comes with body search. You can be able to direct what happened. But here we are dealing with the rescue. So that's why you need to maintain eye focus. Also, assess the situation, environment, available physical equipment, or anybody who else who can help, others who can help. It's also a way of helping. If you yourself, you cannot undertake the rescue, you need to know the environment you are around with, so you need to stay calm. It's not necessarily you go and rescue or swim. You can use whatever is around. You can call for help. You can look around and see the equipment and make sure you are not losing the focus of the victim. A rescuer should enter the water only as a last resort. Actually, when you want to rescue, there are procedure, there is sequence of rescue activities which go on, and going into water is the last resort, is the final decision you have to make. And it follows like this. You should talk to the victim, giving instruction. You can give instruction on how he can save himself, like lying on the knee, or you can also tell him to keep using his hands or you can encourage him to do an activity which will bring him or her closer to the shore or closer to you so that you can save. The other thing is you throw. Throwing, this is where you survey the environment and the equipment around. You can see you get a rod, you get a branch, you get a rope like this one. This is a good rope where you can throw. Also, there are these things we call jerry cans. We also have water cans, which is empty, or even the picnic box. If it has nothing, empty everything, close it, throw to him. It will help him or her to stay afloat as help come. There is also reach, where you extend your hand, extend your leg. Also on throwing, there is a situation where you can remove your belt. It can act very well as a savior. Your trouser can help you save a drowning life. Or for ladies, firefighter mama, you have those wrestles you tie around your waist, or you cover the scarves. You can put something heavier, like a stone, then you throw it. You can use anything as long as you are not compromising your safety. Next. This is about recognizing a drowning victim. Let's move about next. What should I do if someone is drowning? I've said there are processes, and you are called to respond, or you find yourself in a situation where somebody is drowning. You have to be aware. There are 4 A's of rescue. Be aware, recognize this is happening, recognize the incidents that this is what's happening. Then assess. And in assessing, you have to do also the C size up. You also have to assess about your safety, your kind of training, the kind of water, the kind of hazards which are there. When you put all these into your mind, you'll be able to formulate an action plan of what you are going to do. An action will entail a procedure of what you are going to do and rescue. The procedure you are going to undertake to get the victim out of the water. What are you going to do to rescue? And after doing rescue, that is getting the victim out of water, you have to give aftercare. You have to care, the first aid part of rescue. You cannot just get the person out of water and you think that rescue is over. So you have to be aware, you recognize, you assess the situation, you formulate an action, and then give aftercare. Next. For you to undertake any rescue, you have to very fast check risks, the safety. And number one, when performing a ditch rescue, sometimes the person in trouble won't realize that you're offering help. If this happens, make contact by resting the aid over the person's shoulders. Maybe you are throwing a rope, or you are giving a rod, a branch, and because the victim is struggling, might not realize you are trying to help. and maybe he's too busy, or he or she is too busy trying to save himself or creating a lot of commotion, he cannot hear you. You need to touch. You need to make a contact. Throw that rope over and above his shoulder or head so that it touches him or her, and you realize the help that has reached. Help has come. If you join a person in water, instruct them from an arm's length. Here. Tell him to relax. I'm coming to save you. He or she must realize you've come to give aid. He must know that you are there to save. So he must also realize, he or she must realize the situation is bad, and he or she needs to calm down so that both of you can be safe. If you want to be saved, if you want to be okay, he has to relax and be calm. And you can only do that at arm length. You cannot just go and making a contact or getting yourself into a situation where he can grab you and compromise your safety. And if your safety is compromised, both of you, you are going. If attempting a through rescue, using a buoyant aid will give the swimmer in difficult support until they are removed from will give the swimmer in difficult support until they are removed from the danger. If you find that you cannot get the swimmer out, the victim out, throw something buoyant, like we've said, jerry can, water cans, even a basketball. Well, you need basketball. That picnic ball you go play with, the inflated one. Tire tube, get some air inside it, throw. It will help keep the victim afloat and help will come. Also, you have rigid aids. You can throw a towel, because we said getting into water must be the last resort. If somebody is far away from the shore, you cannot reach him, and you are well trained. Next. We've talked about the victim rescue sequence. It comes to talk, reach, extend or throw something, then lastly you can go. Next. Next. We've talked about competency. How do you know? And competency comes with training. How much have you been trained? Back a little bit. One more slide back. One more, okay. Water competence must include proficiency in skills and include the following water conceptual water safety categories. How do you know that you are qualified, or you can enlist yourself into rescue? Firefighters, I know there are criteria we use to know that I'm maturing into this business of firefighting. I can get into this situation. I can get to I can handle this magnitude or these scales of incidents as you grow. You cannot say that for beginners, level of understanding and skills can be equated for somebody with experience. And this is the basic, the minimum water competence, proficiency skills. You must be able to enter into water and totally immerse yourself. Then you recover to the surface and remain there for at least 1 minute on the surface without going back down to the without sinking down inside the water. Then you must be able to change body position, at least turn 180 or more, better, 360, turn to all directions, be able to take any maneuver. You have to be able to move in water, propel yourself forward, back, that way, and also be able to get out of water. If you are capable of these things, these way these are the techniques we call floating and trading. That's how you know that you are growing in this business. That is the basic minimum skills you need to undertake any entry to save somebody. Next. Okay, despite having all that, furthermore, the water competence is influenced by condition of aquatic environment. Water behaves totally different. Cold water, warm water, salty water, fresh water. You might have issues with clarity in water. All those, even the distance you are from the shore, all those, the environments of water, the conditions surrounding that water will also impact on your skills. Despite having the minimum qualification, proficiency skills, you also have to consider this. It is also influenced by specific tasks, demands such as the clothing you are in and the equipment you have. All those are the factors you need to consider. Despite having the minimum proficiency skills to undertake a swimming or a water rescue, you also need to consider this water condition, the condition your body is in, and the equipment you have. As a consequence of the influence of task and environmental factors on aquatic performance, demonstration of aquatic skills in one aquatic environment may not transfer to another. This is what it means. If you know how to swim in swimming pool, you might not be adequate, or you might not be proficient to swim or to rescue in swift water. Dynamic changes, condition changes, environment change. So you have to be aware of all those factors, and you have to be trained on all the kind of water, the swift, enclosed, all those. You also have to train in while clothed. You might find yourself, despite there is a caveat where you should not get firefighting clothes into water. That should not happen. But you need to train with while clothed in swimming clothes, so that anything can happen. We say that you need a plan B, and situation keeps on changing, just like the way fire incidents escalates. That's how even water environment changes forcibly and in instant. You need to have trained this and train it well, that you don't just get it right. Train it more often, in clothes, without clothes, with equipment, without equipment, taking factors of how many victims you have, taking consideration of I'm swimming in enclosed or still water, in swift water. You have to practice in that and never get it wrong. Okay, are we together so far? Next slide. Okay, when things don't go as practiced, we've said what you need to be aware of, how you can release yourself. Next slide. We want to look on how to save victim, the dynamics and the environment of swift water. Next slide. What is this swift water rescue? What is swift water? Technically, swift water is any moving water, any fast. And when we say moving water, it can be moving slow, at a medium pace, or very fast. And swift water rescue, it applies to rescue situation when an environment with that moving water. What can you do? Because dynamic has changed from still water to moving water. Next. And this swift water, the depth, what qualifies water to be swift, and you need to be aware. The water depth has to be over 2 feet, and it must be flowing at around, in Africa we refer to kilometers, around 1.8, around 1.5 to 2 km per hour. That is basically, for them who use miles, is 1.1 and above. And occurrence in natural water causes like flood. There are those channels which are made to control water, or ways made, man-made ways to control flood water. And here water moves very fast. Next slide. Swift water hazards. Flowing water is deceptively strong, and it surprises people. It gets you unaware. Forcefully or tentatively, let's take water moving at 5 kilometers per hour. That is just like a brisk, a quick moving pace. Quick moving pace. That water moving at 5 kilometers, it has a strength of about 26 kgs on any square foot. That is how forceful that water can be. Double that to 10 kilometers per hour. And the force doubles to 120 kilograms per square foot. That force is enough to overturn a small or push a truck or a car and overturn it. That's how forceful the water is. Let's move on. And in these swift waters, there are so many hazards. Namely, cold water. And in cold water, whatever we have is what we call body losing. It's a temperature, or body losing its heat. A situation we call hypothermia. It compromises, or it escalates the situation so much. There are situations which, or there are conditions which accompanies cold water. Next slide. Also in swift water hazards, there are far too many. There is row head dams. These are dams constructed by people for irrigation purposes or water flood control. We have entrapments in swift water. These are what can get hold of your extremities. Extremities, I'm talking of your legs, your hands. We also have obstacles in there. They are called strainers. We have culvert opening down there. We also have what you said, all these also you might find objects and debris carried all the way from far upslope areas by flood and deposited somewhere. All these are hazards. Next slide. These hazards can be classified as dynamic, static, environmental, and environmental are where the accessibility or visibility is poor. Time of the day might be during the day or night. Also weather, you might be responding to a drowning victim and it rains, or it's too hot, such that it reflects on your visibility. You see there is a way water sparkles and it also affects the way you see. The next slide. We also encounter hazardous materials or biological hazards, and water may contain various chemicals and biological waste products. This may be the result of saturated grounds, overwhelming of sewerage. This one we know, and septic systems or industrial runoff. And any flood water, despite of where it is coming from, should be considered contaminated. And after working on any flood rescue, gross decontamination should be performed after each entry. You do a rescue, you respond and you do a rescue on any flood water, whether knowing whether it was contaminated or not. You have to do a gross decontamination and record you were exposed to flood rescue. Next slide. Also, it's good. This one, I'm going to give you homework, fellow firefighters. In swift water, you need to know about these features. These features are like eddy rain. We also have smiling holes, frowning holes. We also have the current. We also have, when we talk of eddy is a situation where water bumps into an object and the flow of water changes. We also have pillow in water, helical flow, how the water moves along the shores, the laminar flows. For us, we see water moving in one direction, but underneath, whatever happens, and that's why you find people going under when they drown, because water moves in layers, and each subsequent layer moves faster than the one below, because it is moving with the speed of the one below its speed. So it's like it's moving on double. You need to get to know this if you are for a perfect and a successful swift water rescue. This is a homework, fellow firefighters. Copy this, go do research, and know each and every feature, because they pose a lot of hazard. Next.
So actually, with that homework, we are 10 minutes over our time today. So unfortunately, we will need to wrap up our training for this week. You've provided so much information, and we are greatly appreciative of that. I know that this is a topic that's very important in the fire service. So I really encourage you all to continue your learning on this topic, continue to go forward and increase your learning. So for today, I just want to encourage you all. I'll be posting in a moment the evaluation from today's training. We've learned so much about all these processes. So I really want to encourage you to complete the evaluation and to let us know other topics that you're interested in. I do want to emphasize, I saw a comment in the chat and there's some other questions there. Is so important to remember to not become a victim as you support water rescue services. And if you don't know how to swim, if you have not had lessons in swimming, this was not a swimming lesson. This did not qualify you to get into the water to attempt rescue.
Yes,
So I want to just emphasize that safety component. And thank you so much for this training today. We greatly appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll be able to focus more on this topic again in the future.